Hey everybody, this is Angie, also known as The Light. Welcome to my channel. Please stop what you're doing, like this video, subscribe to my channel. You will not regret it. If you'd like to make a donation to me, you can do so. My PayPal information and my Cash App information will always be in my description bar underneath the video, or it will be in the comment section. Okay, so when you donate to me, I will email you and I will ask you, do you have a topic, or do you have something that you're going through personally with narcissists, and I will respond in your own video. Okay, you can go through my channel and check out other people's video responses, and I haven't had anybody who wasn't satisfied with my response to their situation. And of course, the more you donate, the longer your video will be and more detailed your video will be. But no donation is too small or too large. Okay, if you just want to donate to me because you love me, that's fine too. But my information will always be in my comment section or in my description bar underneath the video. Okay, so today I want to talk about being the highest supply of the narcissist. And it's so crazy how I was just thinking about this, and then I go and check my email and I see that I have an email from my ex narc best friend. And I didn't open the email. I don't know if it was a mistake that he sent me that or what, but I didn't open it. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to out of curiosity, but we haven't spoken to each other in almost 3 years. Okay. But anyway, so this is why this got me starting to think about being the highest supply of the narcissist and how these relationships go about. So what makes you the highest supply? I'm sure some of you right now are high supply for a narc. And basically, to me, being a high supply of a narcissist is just being that top bitch, being that top slave. Okay, and I mean, to me, you could be the golden child, or you can be the scapegoat, or what is the word, the black sheep of the family. Whether they're taking from you financially, sexually, emotionally, well, they're always going to take from you emotionally, but they're getting the highest supply, meaning that not only do you have an addiction to that particular narcissist, that narcissist is addicted to you as well. They need you. They need you as their emotional toilet bowl, their emotional dumping ground, and you are the highest supply, and meaning they want to keep you around. And I've seen narcissists do anything and everything to keep their highest supply in check, keep their highest supply trained, keep their highest supply in their life. Okay, because honestly, it's hard to find. I think it's hard to find high supply, because eventually, the truth about these particular narcs, their masks fall out. So people are going to find out about them. But that highest supply is under the illusion, under the hypnosis that the narc has placed them on. Okay, so they've worked hard on that highest supply to keep them sedated under that bullshit. And they don't want to have to do this over again. I can imagine how exhausting being a narcissist could be, and how exhausting it is to have to keep tricking people into being your bitch, to being your slave. You know what I'm saying? So I have always been high supply, whether I was a girlfriend, a best friend, a daughter, whatever it is. Okay, I've been the golden child before to narcissists. I've been the scapegoat to narcissists, but mostly I end up being the scapegoat. Okay, but I think I'm going to focus more talking about my ex-best friend and how I was his highest supply. And I think I'm going to use that relationship because I I don't know. I think I went through so many different situations with that particular narc, and so many twists and turns and emotions and ups and downs, and in his life and not in his life, in his life and not in his life, that I could write a book about it. And I've thought about actually writing a book about that particular friendship, because it's one of the most bizarre friendships I have been in. I mean, the way I can describe it, you would have thought that me and this individual was married, or we were intimate with each other. That's how crazy that particular friendship was. Um, okay, so the highest supply, it could be, like I said, you could be a best friend, it could be a child to the narc, it could be a husband or a wife. And usually, when a narcissist wants to keep you around, you are high supply. And what makes you high supply is that you are empathetic. You are self-sacrificing. You put other people's feelings before your own. Okay? You may have low self-esteem. You have no self-love. You're just a giver. You are a fighter. Like, no matter if you're in a friendship or a relationship, or with your family, you always want to be the fixer-upper. You always want to make things work. And that was me. Now, I ain't trying to make nothing work with nobody. You don't love me, you don't respect me, you gotta go. Okay? So yes, I do think the more you love yourself, the better quality you're going to attract. And also, when you love yourself, it's very rare, I feel, that you're going to just be picking up narcissists from left to right. Because when you love yourself, you're not going to sit there taking bullshit from people. You're just not. You're just not. You got to think back to the things that the narcs did to you. Would you allow that today? Wouldn't you pick up on certain things today that you necessarily probably didn't pick up back then? I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Okay, so when I was the high supply to my ex-narc best friend, we trauma bond. Now, trauma bonding is when, trauma could have happened to somebody. They're not always a narc, but trauma bonding is when you've gone through something horrific in your life. It could be sexual abuse, emotional abuse, anything that you've gone through, and you're sharing that with another individual, okay? And they've been through the same thing, or even worse, or less worse, and you trauma bond. You bond between your own pains, your own hurts and situations, experiences that you've been through with these particular people. That you've been through in your life, and they've been through something as well. So you talk and you share. You can do this with a stranger. You can do this with a newfound friend, family member, whoever. And that is how my ex-best friend got me. Narc best friend got me. He got me through trauma bond. Keep in mind, my family and his family were already connected because, believe it or not, my mother actually married into his family. So it was like we knew each other. So I knew his history already. I knew his parents. I knew how he grew up. I just knew certain situations, and I already empathized with him. And I also kind of like knew that I think he knew that I was going to be patient with him because I knew his story. And that's the kind of person I am. I'm not very judgmental. You can sit there and tell me I killed someone, and I'm like, oh, okay, but why did you kill them? That's the kind of person I've always been, still am to this day. And I think even though he was younger, I had my guard down. He's 6 or 7 years younger than me. So I had my guard down because, one, I knew the things that he had been through. 2, because he was younger than me. You would never assume that someone younger than you is going to try to manipulate you. But keep in mind, the narcissism is not just a mental illness. It's a spiritual disorder, and I keep repeating that. So I know if you're new to my channel, I always say this in my videos now. I don't look at narcissism as just a mental or personality disorder. I look at it as a spiritual disorder, meaning I believe that narcissists have suffered trauma in their life that brung in dark spirits into their soul, okay? And they are being controlled by these particular dark spirits. So, here I was thinking that, this narc, because he was younger than me, that he really was harmless. When the whole time, he had a lot of sophisticated, high-level demons on him, okay? And due to, when your mother is carrying you in the womb, you take on spirits and characteristics of your mother. Mind you, was walking around in your father's balls, excuse my language, but you take on characteristics and spirits and behavior patterns and all kind of things from both parents, okay? Whether you grow up with them or not. You ever hear people who never met their father or never met their mom, and then somebody who knew their parents meet them and say, "Woo, you just like your mama, you just like your daddy," and in their head they're like, "I'm nothing like them. I didn't grow up with them. I don't even know them." But you have their DNA, okay? You have their blood running through your veins, and you don't only inherit just looks. You inherit habits and emotions. So we are carrying emotions and spirits and battles that our mother and father they couldn't do on their own. And now they're in a child. This is why I'm 35 years old and I want a child, but I am scared shitless. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared whether I get married or not to have children. I am petrified on who I have kids with, because I had to battle demons in certain situations that got passed on to me through my mother and through my father, onto me, that I had to battle for them. So sometimes your parents didn't battle certain things, and then you're gonna battle for them. Okay, this is how it works in life. Some people say, well, my daddy was a drinker and then you're a drinker. My daddy was a smoker and now you're a smoker. These habits do get passed on to your children. So anyway, I know I always go off topic, but going back to this narc best friend I had that empathy. Being an empath, I had extra empathy for him because I knew who his mother was. I knew who his father was and the character that they were. So I felt for him, okay? And then when he told me that, he thought he was gay, and that was, being gay in the South, being a black man, being gay in the South, and, it was very taboo for him, and it was hard to want to come out and things like that. So I felt for him on that level. So we trauma bonded, and I told him some of my secrets and things that I was battling. And definitely, I will admit, at the time, I didn't love myself. I thought I did. I might have thought I loved the way I look. I loved my style and my swagger, but I really deep down inside wasn't healed from a lot of things. And this is how these narcs get you. It's a crack and they get in, okay? So my mom had died, I'm going to say maybe about a year or two prior to me making a connection with this particular narc. I knew him from when he was a child. And this is really interesting. Most narcs who have come into my life came to me. I didn't go to these narcs. They came to me. And I remember being on MySpace, and the narc messaged me and said, "Hey, how you doing? Wow, you grew up so nice." I said, "You grew up nice too." And then we started to talk. And it felt as if I was talking to a grown-ass man. And at this time, he was probably about 16 or 17. But we made a connection. Keep in mind, narcissists have these dark spirits on them. So their personality is being controlled and altered. So they're going to come off being mature, because spirits and demons have been on planet Earth or in the spirit realm for centuries, generations, okay? So this is why a lot of the times these narcissists, they come off and they have these masks on. They seem mature and debonair and all this type of thing. they come off sexy and all this type of things because they have all these different spirits helping them with their plan, pretty much, okay? So he seemed very mature, and we connected, and we went from messaging each other on MySpace.com at the time, and then it went from text message, then it went to phone calls, and next thing you know, I made like this great friendship with this young man, and I looked at him like a young brother. It was no sexual attraction or anything like that. And we ended up like causing a scene in his family because they didn't understand our friendship. And this was another trauma bond because they tried to break our friendship up, but it only made us stronger. It only made me and the narc stronger, and behind the scenes, the narc is always talking shit about you, okay? So he was talking shit about me. He was making me look like, I'm pretty sure he probably did speak poorly of me, but I think he used the method more of he bigged me up. He boasted me. And this is something that the narc does, and they play people against each other. He was being that he was such a closed person, he didn't tell his family he was gay. He didn't really open up to his family at all. So they're wondering, who the hell is Angie? Why all of a sudden he wants to be open with Angie? So this is what the narc will do, and this is how the narc will separate you. And this is how basically I became that high supply. He made sure in the beginning, and this is a narc tactic, to separate me from other people who I was close to. Made sure, you know what, you don't need a boyfriend. I mean, he always, made comments about the guys who I was either like sleeping with or dating or whatever. Was my boyfriend at the time. He always figured out a way to kind of manipulate me to leave that guy alone. Next thing I know, his sister wanted to fight me. His brother didn't like me. His dad had a problem with me. His dad actually got into like a little bit of a verbal altercation. So this is what the narc does. They separate you from your family, your friends. They make sure that you're not dealing with people who are important to you, because they need to be able to control you. Not only do narcs do this, but abusive, manipulative people do this, okay? A lot of abusive wives and abusive husbands who beat on their wives and beat on their husbands, they do this too, because they don't want there to be anyone out there who's going to help you when you're stranded, okay, by the narc, okay, or the abusive person or friend or whatever. So, partner. And so he did this very early on, and you slowly start looking at the narc as they're your everything, because you've been through all this drama with them and they stuck through you. So here you are, you're bonding with them through the bullshit that they created behind the scenes. But you don't know this though, okay? They've been giving you praises also in the honeymoon stage, okay? So I know this is a lot of information to intake at the moment. But so the narcs sought you out because they saw your great qualities. I'm gonna break this down. They sought you out, they saw your great qualities, and yes, that demon in them said, yup, she's it. Yup, he's it. I gotta have him. I gotta have her. So in the honeymoon stage, they told you how great you are. You're my everything. I love you. You're my best friend. You're the best lover I ever had. I waited so long for you. Or you're the greatest child. I'm so glad I gave birth to you. Whatever kind of relationship is, they buy you gifts. They do favors for you. They tell you how fine you are. They give you so much love and attention. And here you were, not really knowing, but you were hungry. And I know a lot of people who have been narcissistically abused don't want to admit to it. but you were hungry and you were thirsty. You were probably hungry and thirsty because you came out of a bad breakup, or you were hungry and thirsty because you didn't get that love growing up. But it was something that you were looking for and you were seeking for. And I can admit it. I felt lost. I was hungry and thirsty for love and attention. Why? Because my real best friend, my mom, my everything died about 1.5 years before this narc came into my life. So I needed someone to latch on to. And I ended up latching on to a narcissist. Okay? And you have this time for a while where everything is just beautiful. Woo! You got them glasses on. That's why I put these glasses on, because this is exactly how it was. I had these glasses on the entire friendship. Okay? I was like, wow, man, this is like my gay soulmate. This is how I looked at this individual. I looked at him as like my gay soulmate. Like, he was everything that I wanted in a friendship. He was everything I wanted in a man, besides looks, okay? Besides looks, he's a very handsome guy, but not physically my type. But in my mind, because he took all the information I've given him and he created this avatar, okay? That's what the narcissist does. And here you are. This is why you got to check your ego too. You got to check your self-esteem, because I had low self-esteem at the time. My mom had died. I had an empty hole in me. I needed someone to latch on to. And a lot of you don't want to admit it, but maybe after this video, you'll be like, damn, I was in a vulnerable place. The narcissist comes into your life at a vulnerable state sometimes, a vulnerable place that you're in your life. And that's how that particular narc got in. And I became his highest supply. And it was spent hours texting each other daily. There was barely any type of days that went by that we didn't talk. Okay? I could have been with a guy. I could have been in bed with a man, and I'll say, I'm sorry, my best friend's calling me, and I would answer his call. And when you do that, people are looking like, what? Why is she putting him first? And I put him first before everybody. I used to tell people, he will always be in my life, and you're going to respect him, and going on and on and on and on. Okay? I protected this narc. Because when you're protecting the narc, you're not only protecting the narc, you're protecting you. You're protecting the kind of relationship that you've been hiding. Okay? The relationship you had with the narc, when you think back, it wasn't all that great. It wasn't. It was not all that great. The honeymoon stage maybe lasted you 6 months to a year the most. But then after that, it went downhill. They start either beating you up physically or emotionally. They started tearing you down. The things that they praised you for in the beginning, they stopped praising you. Okay, they can't stand your hair. They can't stand your clothes. They can't stand you breathing. Everything's a problem, and you're fighting to keep this narcissistic relationship going. Okay? I was in this narcissistic, abusive relationship for 7 years. I was friends with this guy for 7 long years. Okay? And he became like my spiritual husband. He became my best friend. He became my family. I mean, I would drop anything for this guy, okay? And it's really, really sad when I think about it, because I know a lot of you are probably going through this, but it is an illusion, okay? The narcissists are magicians. They're illusionists. They created everything that you want, everything you desire in a mate, in a parent, in a relationship, you know, a friendship. They create that for you to latch you in. And they know that you're a fighter. You're a fighter. You desire love. You desire to make things right. And they know that you'll stick around because you're trying to get back who they were before they really drop their mask off, okay? And if you find yourself in a situation like that, get the hell out. I'm telling you right now. They're not going to turn back. Who the person is showing you right now, that's who they really are. All that other stuff was fake. All that other stuff was fake. It was just to capture you, okay? And through the years, the abuse gets worse and worse. And you can watch my other videos where I damn near wanted to kill this young man, okay? I really wanted to hurt him. It got to the point where I was throwing his cell phone across the room and choking him out and all this type of stuff, you know. And it was just so many multiple situations where this young man disrespected me. Okay, I lost thousands of dollars dealing with this particular person. So, I know some of you have amazing stories. I've seen people who's like, I lost $150,000. I'm like, whoa. That's another thing that made me start messing with that person. When I started realizing that my money was disappearing, not because he was stealing it, but because situations he was putting me in was making me lose money. That's when I said, no. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Now I'm getting hit. Like, the universe was making sure I was getting hit financially. And money is extremely important to me because to me, money is freedom. Okay? And when you're dealing with these narcs, your health will be compromised. Your money will be everything gets hit. And the universe would keep letting you get hit in all these different areas of importance until you're like, okay, I get it now. I'm awake. I'm awake, God. I'm awake. I see what's going on. But when you're high supply, you are the most abused. You are there for the narcissist, anything it is. Anything that they need. If they need food, you're going to get up in the midnight, you're going to cook that food for them. They need money, you're going to go to the bank in the middle of the night and get that money for them. You'll give them your last. You will clothe them. You will house them. Anything they want. They want sex, you're going to roll over in the middle of the night and give it to them whether you want it or not. Okay? You are there to be the emotional punching bag. I remember when his brother passed away, he was calling me nonstop. You would think that he would just be, there with his family. No, he was calling me nonstop, for me to be there. And in the back of some of you suppliers' minds, you really think that you're special because the narc needs you. No. They don't need you. They're using you. There's a difference. Needing and using is completely different. And for 7 years, I allowed myself to be under hypnosis, thinking that I was special, thinking that I needed his love. And when you love yourself, when you know that the Creator loves you, when you know that you are loved, you don't need to be seeking it. You don't need to be seeking validation in narcissists or other people. And you know your worth. And you know your worth. You're not going to settle for certain shit. You're not going to settle for certain behavior and treatment towards you. Okay? So, how you know you're high supply? I mean, these narcs will lie, will steal, will kill just to keep you. I've seen it. Yeah, I spent money on him, but I've seen the narc steal from other people just to give to me. This is how crazy this is. Not only are you addicted, like I said at the beginning of the video, not only are you addicted to the narc chemically, okay, they're addicted to you too. They really are addicted to you. You gotta understand that the narcissist had trauma in their lives, and that's what created them. Narcs are created, not born. So that trauma, they're empty, and you've been filling them up. You, the highest supply, you have been filling them up. So can you imagine when you get ready to leave a narc? Oh my gosh, they're like a robot that got water thrown on them. They're spazzing the hell out. Because that whole entire time, you have been holding them down physically, financially, sexually, emotionally. You have been operating them. They have been using you. They have nothing else to live off of. You are their life supply. So could you imagine what happens? And then this is why they run out there and they, when you see who they get with next, whether it's, a new girl, new guy, whatever, or a new friend, they look like they're a downgrade to you. Because they really are a downgrade to you. They really are. This is why the narc will go and run off and have a baby with some gremlin looking woman or man. Or, you see some friend who's a bum because they didn't have time to groom someone spectacular like you. Okay? So when you are the highest supply, oh man, and when it's time, I'm not gonna lie, when it was time for me as this high supply to let go, it felt like I lost a limb. It felt like I went through a divorce. It felt like I went through a death. Okay? Because not only are you fleeing from that just a friendship, your body, the endorphins and the chemicals that released when you were dealing with this particular narcissist, your body literally goes through withdrawals of the narc. Okay, you go through withdrawals of feeling alive and being fed, the sweet nothings and the lies and all of that stuff. You miss that. You do. You became addicted. So I understand if you do miss the narc. It's normal. Get through. Just like if you were addicted to drugs, you're gonna miss drugs, but I mean it's good for you. You're gonna go through those shakes and those shivers, missing that coke or missing that heroin or whatever drug it is. But you gotta go through the motions until you're completely away and over that narc. Okay? And I went through it. It was nice. I was crying. I wanted to text him. I wanted to call him. I said, F it, I'll just deal with it. And I got through it. And I feel great. I feel great. I really do. I feel great that I was able to leave that situation. Do I wish bad on him? Hell no. I wish him the best. I actually feel sorry for him. I wish the best for him. And that's why I try not to talk, too much about him or too negatively about the narcs that are not in my life anymore. Because genuinely, I do wish the best for them. Because I know that I'm in a better place than they are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, mostly spiritually. And once your spirit is not in order here in this realm, I don't know what's going to happen to you next. Okay, so hopefully this information is helpful to you, and if not, entertaining. Okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm just a woman who has been through multiple narcissistic relationships, and hopefully I can be of some help for you. So that's what it's like being the high supply. I mean, some people, I've heard them like they want to be the high supply. Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? No, you don't. Because the high supply, always keep this in mind. It just means that you were the dumbest. You were the dumbest, and you were the top-notch bitch and slave. That's what it means to be a narcissistic highest supply. All right, so talk to you soon, guys. Peace and blessings.